trucks and tractor power featuring the best in MTRA monster truck racing. And today from the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio, it's the Canfield Monster Truck Thunder Drag. Each week here on Trucks and Tractor Power, we try to find a different angle, a different slant to the Penda Points Championship. But the story this season has been the same, week in and week out. The total domination of this truck right here, the big blue Bigfoot of Dan Runte. In 8 races, he's unbeaten. That means he has won 32 side-by-side rounds of competition. Well, make that 33 as we advance into round 2 here at Canfield. I realize it may be the best truck. It has factory backing, a great support team. But the guy in the cockpit can make a difference because Dan Runte does not beat himself. He always cuts a good light on the tree. He never red lights. He's always steady. Who can beat Dan Runte if he doesn't beat himself? I don't know. But here's my colleague Armstrong with some highlights from qualifying and round 1 here in Canfield, Ohio.
Well, the big highlight from qualifying was a 492 by the big blue truck of Runte. Everybody kind of expected it. But when the truck settled after the second jump, something happened that could have spelled disaster for this team. Runte had some problems with the truck. Actually blew a tire out, Gary.
Well, Runte flattened the right rear tire on that pass, and he has to help the crew. It's a big job to change a tire on these. In fact, with the tire sizes, they have to change both rear tires so they'll match for handling purposes.
You're exactly right. The tires are matched pairs, and don't do one of anything in this sport. You do 2, and each one of these tires weigh around 1,000 pounds, so no easy task, Gary, if you will.
And Dan had to have the combination. He took on Fred Schaefer in round 1. Fred was the slowest qualifier. That's why this pairing came up. But Fred pulls a big wheelie, was DQ and out of bounds. And the measure goes to Dan Runte. Army talk with both drivers.
You knew he was going to cut the tree on you.
Yeah, Fred always comes out. He does cut the tree good on you. We lost the tire in qualifying, you know, one of our good Firestone tires. We're back to a set that's not quite cut as good, but we're working with it. We're going to have to do some changing on the Ford Bigfoot. We're just going to go back and see what it does and try to work our way through this thing and get over it.
You're right, Army. We're trying to keep the truck on the ground. We've been changing things. The truck leaves hard. You can see it leaves harder than anybody here. I'm trying to keep the front on the ground. We added 300 pounds in the front of the truck. It's still wheelied like that. We're going to go back again, try it again.
Well, so once again, horsepower not a problem for Fred Schaefer, just getting it hooked up to the dirt. Now, there's a look at Eric Meager. Now, Eric is the teammate of Dan Runte. He had some problems in qualifying as well on this pass. Singer qualified 4th on the run. Following the run, Army was down the pit lane to talk to Eric Meager.
What you're looking at is an oil pump that's just been located in the support vehicle for the Sting truck. Now, after the first qualifying run, Bob Chandler's crew chief came on the radio and said, we've lost oil pressure. Eric Meager immediately brought the vehicle back in. They took the bottom of the engine off, and that's what you're looking at right there. The oil pan's completely off the engine. They have located the problem. They have the piece of equipment to put it back together. The big question is, will they get it back together in time to make the first round of elimination? Remember, this truck is number 2 in the national points chase.
Well, Meager would make it out to the line to take on Tim Tesmer in Hercules. The Hercules was good enough on this run to come back as the second fast loser. And Meager would take the win in Stinger. Now here's another look at that tough landing by Tesmer, who also took a rough ride in qualifying. And speaking of wild rides, Alan Pizzo had quite a little journey in the Predator. Watch this. This is in qualifying. This is Alan Pizzo, an independent who is trying his best to compete with the factory-back team. And after that qualifying run, we talked to Alan Pizzo.
We've been struggling this weekend with a little bit of handling problems. We went and redone the truck this weekend, or last week. We changed the shock system around, and I'm finally getting to the point now where I'm getting my confident feeling back and driving and everything else, and it's just taking us a little bit to get the truck dialed in. But by the end of the weekend and by the end of this series, we'll be right there with the top of them.
Allen came back in round 1. He would be paired up against Mark Hall and the Executioner. Now, Hall's time was good enough to come back as the fast loser, but the winner in that round was Alan Pizzo. We want to take a look at another wild ride. Todd Frolick in Rampage in the near lane. Dan Patrick and Sampson in the far lane. And Frolick almost hits the wall as he's trying to get this car shut down. It's a long shutdown area, but almost into the fencing. Well, Patrick became the second truck to DQ in round one out of that scary far lane. He's, of course, leasing this Dungeon of Doom truck from Bob Chandler, and we had a comment from Dan after that run.
Dan, kind of a spooky run out there. Is your vision impaired at all by those side pieces?
Well, it is at the staging lights, but when I get focused down a track, I'm okay. It's not what I'm accustomed to, but, you know, we're working around it.
Tell me about that run.
Well, I wheelied pretty good off the first set. I was kind of thinking he might wheelie and have to get out of it, so I kind of stayed with it. And usually, you know, they're inconsistent, and I was just trying to make a consistent run, and I got a little two-bit loose the other end. I got a little close to that concrete.
Other action now from round one competition. Paul Schaefer had to take on his second truck, Phil Hazlitt, in the Super Truck 20, just by virtue of qualifying how they paired up. Now, he would take out Hazlitt, but this win would come with a price. The time was a 5:23, but Monster Patrol found itself hooked to a wrecker being towed back with mechanical problems.
Making all kinds of horsepower, and it sounds like something just let go inside.
The Van Simmons racing motor has been running hard, and I just broke a rod or spun a bearing.
And there you can see the damage as we go back to more round one highlights from Kirk Dabney and Pam Botters. And Dabney will take out the Boogie van on this run. So as we get ready for round two competition, there's a look at the damage to Tim Tesmer's vehicle. We'll come back with more.